I'm Mark Pryor here live at the Sony Center in Toronto with none other than Stephen J. Wong. Mr. Wong, how are you doing?
Doing very well. Thank you for having me.
No problem. First, I want to congratulate you on the great premiere tonight. Did it surpass your expectations? What did you expect?
Yeah, actually, it was. We had to open up another section. I didn't want to open up the balcony because I wanted the best sight lines, and we had to open up earlier today. And there's a lot more people than we expected, and it was getting out of the limo on the red carpet was insane. I've been with George for a lot of stuff all over the world, but that was mayhem. I don't know if you were there for that, but it was crazy. I thought we were going to get attacked.
Now, back in 2007, when David Loiseau came to you with the idea, what triggered the switch in your mind that said, okay, this could work, let's do it?
Well, you know, because I knew their personalities, I knew what type of guys they were, not their physical attributes, more their, the genuine nature. And I thought, if I can bring that to the forefront, that's the story. It's not the story of winning a championship. It's not the story of, how hard you can kick and how fast you can punch. It's more of a story of life. And that's what I saw in those two, and I said, this is an opportunity I can't pass up.
What would you say would be the more challenging parts in the experience of filming the documentary?
For this one, the most challenging part was when I'm filming this documentary, I don't know where it's going to end. I don't know when it's going to end. So I thought maybe 2 years, but 2 years in, there wasn't a definitive ending. So 3 years, there still wasn't. George was being George, winning and pretty much walking through people, and David was still trying to get back in the UFC. As you see in this in the Striking Truth, there was a definitive ending. A very I could tell the time was there, and we had a very powerful ending, and that was the hardest part.
Now, there was some talk during the Q&A session of possibly a sequel. Is this accurate?
There's been a lot of talk. There's been a lot of talk. It hasn't really come out publicly yet. This is our first public screening, and people have been asking me already. A lot of industry insiders, a lot of professional reviewers, focus groups, experts, distributors have seen it, and everyone's asking, what's with part two? When's part two coming out? So we'll see.
Would this be coming out in DVD or Blu-ray by any chance?
Yeah, it's still going to be determined, but it's coming in the near future for sure.
Were there a lot of things that just didn't make the cut? A lot of scenes that...
Tons of high-quality scenes, like incredible stuff. It was tough to pare that down to 82 minutes because there are some scenes I really wanted in there, some incredible scenes, and it just didn't fit this storyline, but maybe another storyline.
How much footage would you say that you actually captured?
I captured probably it was over 300 anyways, over 300 hours.
And what were the most memorable moments making the documentary?
Most memorable moments is probably, the thing I'll take from it the most is probably what I learned from David and George as far as just being a human being. The way they approach life. You see GSP and you see all the fame and the fortune, but you see the way he approaches life. It's not about money. It's about family. It's about the people who he loves, and that's what I'm taking most from this film.
Was it hard filming the documentary? Did you have to spend time away from your family and vice versa?
It was very difficult because if you think about George, for example, he trains in Albuquerque, New Mexico, Denver, Colorado, New York, New York. He trains in Brazil. He trains in Abu Dhabi. He trains in Asia. So the list goes on, and obviously trains in Montreal. But that's a typical month in the life of training for George. What just all those places that can happen all in a month. So on top of that, there's another fighter, David Loiseau, that I'm following. So you can imagine how much travel I had to do. It was just crazy.
Now, most people might not know that your first documentary was actually on Elvis Stojko.
That's correct. That's correct.
How do those two documentaries compare?
Well, there's a big difference because with the Elvis Stojko documentary, there was a definitive end. So he had a secret retirement. He wasn't letting the public know. And 2 weeks prior to that, we started filming. The 2 weeks leading up to this grand event. And we just want to capture his thoughts, his emotions, and how he's coping with this secret. So it was a 2-week project, and then post-production and everything. But this, this is a totally different animal.
And we've touched on the past, we've touched on the present. What's next for Stephen J. Wong?
George and I are working on a project, the GSP story. So I've been shooting that. It's going to be a totally different story than The Striking Truth, and stay tuned.
Now, if we may, I'd like to transition into what I call a rapid Q&A session. Sure. Basically, I will ask you a question, say a word, say a name, and you have to answer in one word, a couple words, or a brief sentence, really quick, as fast as you can. Sure. You prepared?
I'm ready.
All right, here we go. George St. Pierre.
David Loiseau.
David Loiseau.
George St. Pierre.
Favorite color?
Red.
Dream car?
It's something I learned from George. It's not fitting within your criteria, but something I learned, before I used to think, I'll get Lambo, but now cars don't mean anything to me.
Most memorable moments of life?
My kids and my family.
Favorite martial art?
My two specialties are Taekwondo and Kung Fu, so I can go with that.
Favorite martial artist?
George St. Pierre, David Loiseau.
Favorite movie?
Matrix.
Hardest challenges that you face in life? Top 10 maybe? Top 5?
Finishing a film that spanned 4.5 years.
Easiest thing you've ever had to say?
No.
If you had to change one thing about the documentary, anything at all, or improve, what would it be and why?
I'm pretty happy with the way it turned out.
And the final question, the big one, what came first, the chicken or the egg?
That one I'm going to be on the fence for.
All right, that concludes our interview. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'm Mark Pryor, live for Conestoga College.